In the world of startup, the first thing that we do is create a demo prototype and provide it to our users, to our investors, to everyone, so that they can get a feel of what it is. But the reality is that even if it is one of the most important steps, it is just one step. And a demo is not really a business. The best demos that I ever built got a room full of people to clap, but yeah, as you can guess, it exactly made me $0 during the entire lifetime of product. That is the thing. This gap between a product and a demo is where most founders die. And so let me show you the 5 places where that gap hides so that it does not catch you. Hi, I'm Satyam Shivare. I have shipped 8 plus product in the past 10 years. And during this time, I've had many failures and I've also learned a lot of things. And I have packed all these failures and learnings in a single book called AI for Founders and have provided this book completely for free. Also, whatever we are going to discuss in this video is directly taken from that book. So if you want to learn a lot more things, then you can directly get that book from the description or you can just comment in the comment box AI for Founders and I will send it personally to your inbox. By the end of this video, you will know the 5 differences between a demo and a business. The 5 things that a demo skips but a business lives or die on. Gap number 1. A demo works once in good conditions, but a business works every time. A demo is a magic trick that you control. You decide the inputs, you decide the lighting, you decide the conditions, you decide everything. But a business has to perform without any safety net on a random Tuesday on an input that you have never seen. And that is basically reliability. A demo is not reliable. It is something that only you can use. It will work best for you for the inputs that you are giving it. But a business will take any input and it will create a meaningful output for the person who is using it. That is reliability. That is guarantee. For example, you have a product which actually separates background from the images. So when you're giving a demo to your investors or your customers, what you will do? You will simply take one photograph that have the best lighting and have been shot with the best angle and you will feed it to your product and it will just work flawlessly. Everybody will give you applause and everything. But your business, that is in the hands of real users and they are going to give it input that you have never seen. Maybe a user will give a photograph that does not have good lighting, that have a blurry background, and that have many things inside of it. Your business must work on that kind of input also in a meaningful way. Maybe the output will not be the best, but it has to be a meaningful output for a user to actually use it. Otherwise, it's not reliable. There's no guarantee that the user will get something of value from the product. The takeaway is that a demo is a performance that you are performing on the stage. A business is a guarantee that you are providing to the user that the user will always get some kind of meaningful output no matter what kind of input they are providing. Gap number 2. A demo serves a friendly you. A business serves the hostile strangers. A demo is something that you know inside out. You are the only user. You are going to give it inputs that it can accept. You will use it in a way that will not crash your product. You are the only one who know how to hold it so that it does not fall. But your users, they don't give a damn. They are not going to care how it works, what it is, and how not to break it. They are completely hostile towards your product. They are going to do things that you cannot even imagine can be done to your product. And a lot of the times, your product will crash if it is not resilient enough. For example, in the same background removal product, what if a stranger gives you a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot of an object and then asks you to say, hey, remove the background and give me that object in that photograph, then what? Will your product be able to handle this kind of input or not? It's a completely strange input that you will not even think of, using in your testing or in some other kind of thing, right? But a person who is a real user will not care. They want to get the things fast in the easiest way possible. And so they are not going to bother, clicking a photograph, like a really good photograph, and then giving it to your product. They will give it whatever they got. And your product must be able to handle that kind of input. It should not just crash. It must not give some gibberish output. And also, in the same example, what if in that photograph, we don't have one object, we have 3 objects? Now what? Do we want to create 3 different images for 3 different objects? Or we want to extract all those 3 different objects in a single image but without any background? That is something that you have to think about how you want this thing to go. And these are what we call edge cases. And your users will always live on the edge cases. They will always give you something that will keep trying to break your product until it breaks it. And it will break it. And that's why it is important that you iterate. You always take feedbacks from your users, what they are doing to your product, how they are using it, what problems they are facing. Otherwise, you will never know where your product is failing or where it is crashing or what is happening to it. The key takeaway from this is that you need to build for the strangers who are trying to break your product, not for a friend who is rooting for it. Gap number 3. A demo ignores cost per use, but a business is something that lives or dies on it. Yes, in the new AI economy, there are some things that have changed. You see, in the earlier software days, the cost of acquisition of a new customer was very low. Yes, in the starting, you will have to like input a lot of money into the system, but as you kept acquiring more and more customers, the cost of acquiring a new customer in the system, I'm not talking about marketing or any other thing, okay? That cost is different. But the cost of acquiring a customer in the system was not much. It just kept on decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. So basically, the graph was like something like this, like it will just flat out later on. So the cost was acquiring new customer at a certain scale was very less. In the AI, that is not really the case. Okay, in the AI, the cost will increase. Okay, the more users you will have on your platform and they are using AI on your platform, then understand that AI will cost per token. Each user who is going to use a token will be costing you money for that token. It means the more users you have on your platform, the more you will have to bear the cost of those users. And that is why this gap is like a silent killer because it will kill you when your startup is growing to the best. The more growth you have, the more cost you will have to bear. And that is why it is very, very, very important for you to understand what is your cost structure before you are giving anything away for free. The idea that you can give your product completely for free for the first few years and get a lot of customers and then charge is gonna go out very soon because the cost structure of the software itself changed. The more users you have, the more cost you will have to bear. There is no flat curve, it's like just up. The more cost you will have to bear. For example, in our background removal product, the more users you will have, the more photographs will be uploaded to your server, right? It means the more AI will be used on those photographs to actually extract the object out of it. The more AI used means more tokens are used, means more cost. The bill you will have to pay for the free users will keep rising as they stay on your platform. So if you're someone who is planning to provide free tier in your AI products, make sure that you have done the math of tokens. And yes, you can understand this math in the book that I have, AI for Founders. The chapter 9 is completely for unit economics, how to calculate the cost of the AI that you're using. But make sure that you have planned for this cost. I'm not saying that providing free stuff or providing a free tier is a bad strategy now. No. But you need to plan for the cost of it. You need to plan it very well. Otherwise, it will just take up all your profits, all your revenue, and it will just make sure that you go out of business as soon as possible. The key takeaway is that if you don't know the cost per use, you don't know if you have a business or not. Gap number 4. A demo skips the edge cases, but the users will always find every one of them. You see, when you're on a stage giving a demo, you will avoid the hard inputs. You will avoid things that will break your demo, and it is fine. It is completely fine because it's just a demo. It is something that you are presenting to your investors or to your customers, right? But the reality is that when this product will go into the customer's hand, the first thing that will do is just hit these edge cases. Exactly the edge cases that you avoided in the demo. For example, in our background removal product, in the demo, we will avoid hard inputs. For example, a transparent bottle in a photograph. You see, we will not try to give this kind of input to a demo, right? Because a transparent bottle also will show the background of it. So when the product will try to remove the background, it may possibly remove the background, but not what is inside of the bottle. You might still be able to see the background inside of the bottle, right? So that is an edge case. Whether it will work or not, you don't know, right? But your users will not care. They will actually provide this thing to the product and they will expect a very good result. And then your product might turn that bottle into a gray blob, or worse, it might just give it some crazy random feature on it that was never in the original photograph. So the edge cases that we skipped were the first thing that the users hit. The key takeaway is that the stuff we leave out of the demo is the real to-do list. That is the thing that you have to work on when you get the funding or when you get your product in the customer's hand because you cannot delay that. Make sure that once your product is out, you keep working on these edge cases. You make sure that your product is very, very, very reliable and resilient. And once again, the key takeaway is the stuff that you leave out of the demo is your real to-do list. Make it a priority. Gap number 5. A demo earns the applause, but a business makes money. And yes, this is where most people fool themselves because you see, applause feels like validation. It feels like, yes, people are saying your product is good, so it will be a success. And the reality is that people will make sure that they are saying crazy stuff about your product, like it's incredible, it's really good, and they never pay a cent to you. So the applause from the people is not validation. It is not something that you should count as your success. Praise is free, applause is free, so it costs them nothing to give it to you, and so it proves nothing to you about your product. For example, at the demo of your product, everybody says it's incredible, but the real thing that you need to do is count how many people are willing to pay for it. That is the main thing. A business exists the moment somebody who owes you nothing is willing to give you money for your product and will keep coming back the next month to pay more to get the product more. Remember, the wows and the applause does not pay your API bills. The revenue is the only thing that will keep the lights on in your studio. So the key takeaway is that don't count the claps, count the repeat payments. Here is a quick recap of all the 5 gaps that we discussed here. First one, a demo works once in good conditions, a business works every time. Second one, a demo works with a friendly you, but a business works with hostile strangers. Third one, a demo ignores the cost per use, but a business lives or dies on it. Fourth gap, a demo skips the edge cases, but the strangers will find every single one of them. And the fifth one, a demo earns the applause, but a business earns the money. So if all that saved you some pain, just subscribe because the next video is about how AI is brilliant and confidently wrong at the same minute and how you need to design your product around this limitation. Because the landscape of AI is such that it is very, very, very good at some things and it is completely bad in other things. So you need to design your product in a way that will accommodate these limitations of AI. And of course, the next video is also from the book called AI for Founders. So if you want the book, just see the description, it will be present there. And also tell me in the comments which is the gap that bit you the hardest in your journey. Now we will meet in the next video. Till then, Satyam signing off.